Some friendships don't end with a fight. They end with a walk where nobody waits for you to tie your shoelaces. My name is Anton, and this is the story of the two people I thought were my best friends and the day I finally stopped answering the phone. It started the summer we were all 16. Me, Dima, and Lena. We'd been friends since 7th grade, the three of us, or at least I thought we had. Looking back now, I think I was always more of a convenience than a companion. Someone to fill the group when nobody better was around. But I didn't see that then. I just saw my friends. The first sign came on a Tuesday in July. I texted the group chat, the one called the Three Musketeers, which I had named, which they had never commented on, asking if anyone wanted to meet up at the park near Lena's building. Dima replied first. "Sorry, man, busy today." Then Lena. "Yeah, me too. Family stuff." I put my phone in my pocket and walked to the park alone. I sat on the bench by the fountain for about 20 minutes. Then I saw them, Dima and Lena, walking through the far gate together, laughing about something, sharing earphones, completely relaxed. Not busy, not with family, just with each other. And without me, I could have called out. I didn't. I just watched them walk past without seeing me, and I felt something shift in my chest. Not quite pain, not yet, more like a small, cold click of understanding. I didn't say anything about it. I told myself it wasn't a big deal. People make plans, things change. Maybe they decided last minute. I gave them the benefit of the doubt so many times that I ran out of doubts before I ran out of excuses for them. The second thing happened 2 weeks later. The three of us were actually together for once, walking home from a party at a classmate's place. It was late, the streets were quiet, and I was happy, genuinely happy. The kind you feel when you think everything is normal and good and you belong somewhere. Then my shoelace came undone. It sounds ridiculous to even say it now. A shoelace. I stopped and crouched down to tie it and said, "Give me 2 seconds." They kept walking. I finished tying it and looked up, and they were maybe 15 meters ahead, already deep in their own conversation, not glancing back. I jogged to catch up. Neither of them acknowledged that they'd left me behind. Lena was telling a story about someone at the party, and Dima was laughing, and I just rejoined as if nothing had happened, as if I hadn't just been left on the pavement, but something had happened. That's the thing. Something small and specific had happened, and it had a shape, and the shape of it stayed with me. After that, I started paying attention in a way I hadn't before. And what I noticed was this. When it was the three of us, I was there. But when it was really the two of them, I was not. They had jokes I wasn't part of. They referenced conversations I'd never been in. Once, walking between classes, they started talking about some drama involving people from another school lowering their voices, leaning into each other. I asked what was going on. Lena looked at me and said, "You wouldn't get it anyway. It's complicated." Dima nodded like this was reasonable. I nodded too, because what else do you do? But I thought about it all day. You wouldn't get it anyway. Not we'll explain it, not it's a long story, but basically, just you wouldn't get it. Like my understanding wasn't worth the effort. Like explaining things to me was a resource to be conserved. Then there was the afternoon in October when I actually needed them. My grandmother had been taken to the hospital the night before, nothing immediately life-threatening, but serious enough that my parents were shaken and I'd barely slept, and I didn't know what to do with the feeling sitting in my stomach. I called Dima first. He picked up on the fourth ring. I told him what had happened and asked if he could come over or just talk for a bit. He said, "Listen, me and Lena are hanging out right now. We kind of made plans. You know how it is." I said, "Yeah, I know how it is." I hung up and sat on the floor of my room for a while. Then, and this is the part I still think about, a few minutes later my phone rang again. It was Dima. I thought he'd called back to check on me. I answered. But he hadn't ended the call properly the first time. Or Lena hadn't. And what I heard was the two of them talking about me. Not intensely, not with cruelty exactly, just casually, like a habit. Lena saying, "He's always doing this, always making things dramatic." Dima saying, "Yeah, he can be a lot sometimes." And then both of them laughing, lightly, like it was nothing, like I was nothing, like the grandmother in the hospital and the boy sitting on the floor were just background noise in their afternoon. I held the phone against my ear until the call ended by itself. Then I put it face down on the carpet and didn't move for a long time. I want to be honest about what happened next, because I think people expect a dramatic confrontation. There wasn't one. I didn't storm over to Lena's building and throw their words back at them. I didn't send a long message in the group chat. I just got quiet. I stopped initiating. I stopped texting first. Stopped suggesting plans. Stopped filling the silences. And for a while longer than you'd expect, neither of them noticed. Or if they noticed, they didn't ask, which told me everything I hadn't quite been able to admit to myself. It was a Friday in November when Lena called. Late, almost 11 at night. I looked at the screen for a moment before answering. Her voice was strange, tight, and unsteady, like she was trying to sound calm and not managing it. She said, "Anton, I need to talk to you. Something happened with Dima. He told people something I told him in private, something really personal, and now everyone knows and I don't know what to do. And I need someone right now. Can you come, please?" There was a long pause on my end. I thought about the park in July, the shoelace in the dark street. You wouldn't get it anyway. He can be a lot sometimes. I thought about my grandmother's hospital room and the floor of my bedroom and the phone lying face down on the carpet. And then I thought, she is not calling her friend right now. She is calling her backup. The person she kept around for moments exactly like this one when the real plan fell through and she needed someone to show up. I wasn't angry. That's the strange part. I wasn't even hurt. Not in the sharp way I'd been hurt before. I was just very, very clear. I said, "Lena." And she said, "What?" And I ended the call. I've thought about that moment a lot since then. Whether I was right, whether it was cold, whether there was some version of me that should have gone anyway, because she was genuinely upset and people deserve compassion regardless of how they've treated you. I go back and forth on it. But here's what I keep coming back to. Compassion is not the same as availability. I am allowed to care about someone from a distance. I am allowed to hope she was okay without being the person she called at 11 at night when her other option fell through. I am allowed to be someone's third option without agreeing to it. The hard thing about friendships like this is that nothing in them is obviously wrong. Nobody hit you. Nobody said you were worthless. It was just small things, small, consistent things, a pattern of being the one who mattered least. And when you try to explain it, it sounds like nothing. A shoelace, a park, a phone call you weren't supposed to hear. But patterns are made of small things, and the weight of a pattern is not small. I don't know where Dima and Lena are now. We were in the same class for another year and a half, and we were polite and distant, and that was fine. Some people are in your life for a reason, and then the reason ends, and that's okay. What I know is this. I stopped being someone's third option. I stopped shrinking myself to fit into spaces that weren't made for me. And somewhere in the process of going quiet, I found room for people who actually looked back when I stopped walking. Have you ever been someone's backup plan? Tell me in the comments.